Hello and welcome to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I'm Mr. Randy and today we're doing another full review episode. If you're new to the channel, hello, welcome, come on in. All my returning viewers, you know how we do, so let's get into it, shall we? Today's full review episode is going to be, I could just leave it right there. Get a little closer, come on, don't be shy. Aviation American Gin, batch distilled, with an adventurous blend of spices from around the world. Now on the website, Ryan Reynolds claims that he's tried every gin on the planet. I call BS because he's a man of BS. Not always bad BS, but hey, 42% alcohol by volume. Thank you very much for that little extra little bump. Established in Portland, we'll get back to that in a moment. It is a 750 milliliter bottle at 80 proof, but they do have a 1 liter bottle. They also have like a 175 bottle, which is rare, I do believe. And they have a blood orange version of this as well. You don't need a government warning. There's that stuff if you like. DrinkIQ.com. We don't need that. Yeah, it is 100% grain neutral spirit, distilled in Oregon and or Indiana. We'll come back to that in a moment. Bottled by Aviation Gin, Portland and or Plainfield, Illinois. Yeah, we'll get back to So it's got nice ribbing for pretty good grip. There's nothing on that side. The cap is a little bit of a aviation metal, if you will. If you've ever been in aviation or Air Force or something like that, you know the style. you know that like aircraft aluminum style. As far as the aviation and all that kind of gimmick to it, I don't understand. Didn't find anything. Didn't go too deep into that rabbit hole because time and all. We need to get moving. You don't want too much information. If you do, you have to go dig it for it yourself. So let's start with the easiest and most obvious thing to start off with. Ryan Reynolds is no longer the co-owner. He was a co-owner. He got in on this whole thing in 2018. It was originally started in 2006. I apologize. It was originally started in 2006. Diageo bought it from Ryan Reynolds as a co-owner. They bought it for over $600 million. Can you imagine that? I wonder how much of that he got. How much did Ryan get for that? He builds brands and then he sells them. He did it for Mint Mobile. He did it for Aviation Gin. What was the other thing he did? He did a couple other things. And we won't even get into Deadpool. I mean, seriously. I don't know. But on the nose, 100% grain neutral spirit, yeah. It's got a very crisp, very clean, but they say they have a proprietary blend of botanical berries and foliage and whatnot that they use in their medium when they filter the spirit, the raw spirit, the vodka. So vodka filtered through a media with all these berries and whatnot. They turn it into gin. But this is a new Western style gin. I didn't look into that, but a new Western style gin. Okay, so here's the thing. Diageo bought it, right? Okay, in like 2020 or 2022. I think it was 2022. And their original plant where they were making this was in Portland, Oregon. But then Diageo, who's in New York, bought it. So they bought it, and they were basically got tankers where they were taking this stuff across the country to be bottled in New York. Because why? Because in Portland, Oregon, they're shutting down that plant over there. They have another plant, as you might have seen. It says bottled in, but it's no longer the truth because they're not bottling it. They're bottling it in New York. I think they're moving the bottling plant to Illinois to sort of bridge the gap from them moving out of Portland, Oregon, distilling in Oregon and Indiana. So I think they're moving from Oregon to Indiana. And so that it's closer to New York because they want to get away from the West Coast and the whole thing that they were doing over there. Diageo is a SOB. Diageo is in hot water in many different areas, this being one of them. They're shutting down the plant in Oregon. They're not saying it directly, but everybody knows what's happening. They closed their gift shop. They're downshifting their production and laying off lots of their employees. So, yeah, kiss it goodbye, Oregon. Just face facts. They're sort of sidestepping, two-stepping back over. They're trying to bring it back over to New York a little bit closer to where, it costs less to transport enough of that. I paid $24.87 from my local specs for this 42% on the nose. It's got a good nose, even at halfway point. It's had plenty of time to off gas. It's got a good nose. Let's go ahead and get on the nose. I'm getting typical botanicals. I'm getting light, gentle pine. A little bit of mint, maybe. Like a lemon zest. Slight citrus orange peel. The orange peel is like very light. Some berries and maybe some nuts. You know, the typical floral match of the gin. So let's go ahead and get on the palate. That's kind of nice. I like that. That was better than that last one I had. But then again, it's like what? 3 to 4 times the price? So I would say this would be more of a sipper than a mixer. If you enjoy shipping, if you enjoy sipping gin, this one will be better than that last one. That the Emerald bottle I had, miles, I think it was. Miles and miles. My nose is starting to... One more on the palate and we'll move on. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel as of yet, go ahead and do so while you're there. That way all this content will come to you as soon as I release it. Okay. So it doesn't appear to have a whole lot of... Oh yeah, the glass roll. Yeah, I think we can do the glass roll. Not that it really matters a whole lot anyways, right? Gentle coating. That's a little bit better, wouldn't you say? There you go. That's a lot better, actually. Like I said, I felt like there's more on the palate than there was in the glass, but now that is definitely more in the glass than on the palate. It does come across slightly oily. I'm getting mostly back in. It's trying to push a 3, but I don't know. It might hit the 3 when we do the finish. I'm getting cheek and jowls. This is all like lower back end sort of stuff. There's more to pick out on the nose. Picking your nose. There's more to pick out of the nose than boogers. The palate, I'm not able to pick all that off the palate as I do from the nosing. But let's do the finish. Yes, I would say this is a much better sipper. And I've dropped it in some tonic water, and it pretty much disappears. So I guess that's the thing. It doesn't really add a whole lot to the tonic. It's like a very, very light touch of gin. Of course, it adds ABV. It has the alcohol, but it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. I guess that's why that makes that last one that they said it was specifically kind of designed for mixers. I would say this is probably more designed for sipping, but the website still has Ryan Reynolds' face all over the place, and they have a lot of recipes and whatnot for mixing. They really do emphasize mixing. I would say no thank you. This is a sipper, not a mixer. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of flavors to be pulling off of the palate. It's pretty mild. I'd say it's about half of the nose. The palate and the finish is half of the nose. That's unfortunate, but I think it's still okay. And I'm finally happy that I can do it without, guilting my conscience about it being a celebrity bottle. It's no longer a celebrity bottle. But I do wonder, was this bottle made while it was still in under his name? Is there a laser code? I do not... Yeah, yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's a laser code. If you can figure it out and tell me, was this a pre-Ryan Reynolds bottle or a post-Ryan Reynolds bottle? That I would love to know. And, of course, going forward with this brand, I don't think I would buy it. I would like to try the Blood Orange, but at what point will they stop being the Ryan Reynolds gin and it be Diageo gin? That's a good question to ponder. But let's put a score on it. You know what? Here's the thing. I think I'm going to put it at I'll put it at a solid 4 out of 5. A solid 4 out of 5. It's a pretty good gin for the price point. 25 bucks out the door for a 750. It is 42% alcohol by volume, so they give you a little bit more. No longer Ryan Reynolds, so there's that. I don't have a whole lot against the guy, but hey, we'll keep politics out of it. My fair price, I'll leave it alone at $20 to $25 out the door. Buy it again. Like I said, I'm interested in the blood orange, but it's not that big of a deal. But there it is. In the comment section, I'd like to know where you're at. What are you drinking? Have you tried the Aviation American Gin? What do you think about Ryan Reynolds? And as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. Now we can call it a good one.